Hi everybody, I'm Ron Cantor and you're watching Out of Zion on GODTV. This is part 3 of our series on the 1967 Six-Day War. With Egypt, Jordan, and Syria having signed a pact to destroy Israel and amassing troops on her southern, northern, and eastern border, the western border is the sea, the Jewish nation had only one option: strike first. At 7:45 a.m. on June 5th, flying low through the gaps in the Egyptian radar system, Israel attacked Egypt's air bases. They caught the Egyptians completely by surprise. Many of the generals were stuck in rush hour traffic. Israel targeted first the runways, preventing Egyptian jets from taking off. Next, they destroyed Egypt's fighter jets, and after that, all other aircraft. They took out their missile launchers and radars. By the end of the first day, the once war-hungry Egyptian high command was dejected, as 80% of their bombers were gone and more than half of all their fighter jets. It was a decisive blow. Israel wasted no time in launching a ground invasion in the Sinai desert. Time was of the essence because the UN could seek to impose a ceasefire at any minute, and Israel had to ensure that the Straits of Tiran and the Suez Canal would be open to Israeli ships. By the end of the fourth day, Egyptian forces had fled the entire Sinai. Israel had all but defeated Egypt and could now focus on Syria. In the north, the goal was clear: take the Golan Heights, which Syria had been using for years to bomb Israeli towns and cities. It would be literally an uphill and bloody battle. Syria, meanwhile, pinned its hopes on an impressive Egyptian victory. Egypt had the larger, more skillful army. Syria never dreamed that the war would start off like this. Syria attacked Israel from the air on the first day, and Israel responded later that day by destroying 59 Syrian planes. By the fourth day, Syria had made a tactical error. Israel had most of her forces in the south, and the weak resistance in the north convinced Syria that Israel would never break through her defenses. However, on June 9th, the fifth day of the war, with Egypt in check, Israel launched an offensive against Israel and took, to the surprise of the Soviet-backed Syrian army, the entire Golan Heights. But how did Israel end up with Jerusalem? Well, this may be the best part. You have to understand something about Arab warfare. If you're losing, you lie. You never admit defeat, or else your allies, not to mention your own troops who would rather be at home with their families, alive, may run. Who can forget the affectionately named Baghdad Bob, the former Iraqi information minister who came out every day to share how Iraq was crushing the invasion? On June 5th, just after Israel had all but destroyed Egypt's air force, an Egyptian commander sent word to King Hussein in Jordan that 75% of Israel's planes were gone. Jordan, at the same time, received a message from Israel through an immediate that if she did not attack Israel, Israel would not attack her. However, Jordan had already begun the attack, and Hussein responded arrogantly. They started the battle, well, they're going to receive our reply by air. Initially, Israel did not respond to the Jordanian aggression, hoping that Jordan would reconsider. However, King Hussein got another message from Egypt that her forces were now in Israel and her planes had destroyed Israel's air bases. When he saw jets flying over Israel by radar, he wrongly assumed that they were Egyptian, when in fact, they were Israeli jets returning from their missions. Israel's Moshe Dayan declared a news blackout for the first 18 hours of the war. So not only King Hussein, but the whole world believed the ridiculous radio reports coming out of Egypt of a one-sided Arab victory. Many Jews around the world were dismayed when they heard this. A Turkish columnist wrote a few years ago, "Arabs dance on the streets as Radio Cairo broadcasts great victories against Israel. Israel orders total radio silence since Israel has destroyed Jordan's communication lines. Jordan gets war news from Radio Cairo." In a telephone conversation, Nasser tells King Hussein that Egyptian planes are over Israeli skies. Encouraged by this fake news, Jordan shells Israeli cities. The result I'm going to tell you about tomorrow. And make sure you go to GOD.TV so you never miss an episode. And you can find me at roncantor.com.
Please follow Ron on Twitter and Facebook at Ron S. Cantor to find out more about Ron and his ministry. For more information on GODTV and the Out of Zion programs, or to view these programs again, go to god.tv/Zion.